Okay, mic check, mic check. Sure, you can hear through the screen. Welcome, welcome, Mr. Blue here. TradePhantoms.com. Live training analysis session. So roughly about an hour to the take here. Streaming on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all that more TikTok going on. So you can watch video as well. I'm just streaming to my phone for right now on TikTok, but that will get a lot better there. But on YouTube as well. So let's put some time and date stamp on this. Today is going to be, of course, Tuesday, August 12th, 2025. Again, as I mentioned, undergraduate with you at TradePhantoms.com. We did have a couple of things here for, I'm going to look for some pre-market routine and potentially take a live trade off the open. What you see is a potential trading setup. Noteworthy, however, I will say today being Tuesday, August 12th, is we have CPI data that just came out. Mic check now here on YouTube. Hold on, okay. It's the mic, girl. See if that helps. Let me know. Mic check, mic check, mic check. See if that helps. It's horrible. Let me fix that. Is that better now? Mic check on YouTube? Is that better? Refresh. Yeah. Swamp. Yeah, guys. Okay, mic check. Is that better? Does that happen to be better, team? Is that better now? Mic check. Okay, looks like we're good. I'm not sure. Maybe the cord got a little wiggled. I'm not sure. Anyways, let's move on. That just wasted our time, right? All right, good. Thank you for letting me know. Streaming through this is here, so yeah, I feel like I am a captain on a plane right now. Love the mic check, but if it doesn't check, love the mic check, but doesn't check if the mic don't check. Check, check. Here we go. All right. We just had today being Tuesday. Thank you for that, team. Today we did have some kind of catalyst. Today we have the 8:30 a.m. Eastern, which just happened about what coming up on 30 minutes ago, give or take. Core CPI month over month, year over year, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that actually came in not as great, not as great. Some things are rising a little bit there. Some things are okay. Some things are not so great. So it'll be pretty interesting going into this. There's something called the Fed Funds Watch Tool here, based on the CME Futures.com here. The next date, now that we are talking about
in regard to the Fed announcement or the Fed meeting, FOMC. The next meeting is September 17th. The reason why I just bring your attention to this really briefly is that there's about a 91, there was about 88 or 88, 89% chance yesterday that the Fed was going to cut their rate from 2.25. Okay, that's still remaining up to about 91%. So CPI is a big, I would say, announcement or a big news hit point that the Fed is going to be watching to dictate whether or not they want to raise or cut rates, right? So far with this, there's two priced in terms of rate cuts, 0.25 basis points both times for the remainder of the year. We'll see if that holds true. Right now, still September 17th, there's still about a 192% chance of potentially that happening. Okay, the only reason why I'm kind of bringing that up is because we did have a big good point, as mentioned, CPI. All right, so as always, we talked a little more about this going into more granular detail of what this is. I know Mr. Green at Phantoms does a great job of going into some fundamental analysis regarding this. Now I'm a little bit backed up due to this mic thing here, and however, so I'm going to get back to the charts, and I'm going to get to the charts. And at the end of the day, no matter what, we have to go back and make sure see what the charts are doing in terms of price action for us to even take a trade, anyways, right? So we'll get to the charts in a moment. Just real quick, while I just bring this up, kind of get back on track here. I always bring this up every single morning, no matter what, with the Phantoms team. Okay, multiple time frame analysis, demand, supply, institutional demand and supply is the backdrop of the strategy at Phantoms. Top down, multiple time frame analysis. You will see a bunch of orange, yellow, and blue color code on my charts. That has to do with certain time frames that are color coded. Orange has to do with the monthly time frame, so that color designation is going to be orange for monthlies. Weekly is going to be yellow. Daily is going to be blue. So anything you see in these color codes are going to be representative of those time frames association. Candlesticks, bunch of fancy names, location and context being most important. Of course, you want to be looking for demand in the context of uptrends with demand with these bullish candlesticks printed in the proper location. Bear candlesticks, same thing, a bunch of fancy names, less about the names, more about the location and where we are in the context of the overall market. And there's something called the liquidity map, which we talk a lot more in detail. Of course, defend group. And I usually just park this over to the liquidity map. I would just left, and this I'm sure we'll discussed once or twice throughout the session here today. Start this off with futures. All right. Major four indexes. All right, this is Think or Swim platform here. And I'm going to start off with the S&P upper left, NASDAQ upper right, Dow Jones lower left, Russell 2000 bottom right. I'm going to pop open the daily time frame of. I'm going to pop open the daily time frame here. All right, so S&P futures daily time frame. Yeah, here's the current price at the moment. We got the S&P futures up about 0.49% at the moment. Daily candle all the way to the right. Hopefully, I can kind of make that out to see. This is going to be a little annoying. Give the hard right edge there. There we go. So current price here. Okay. Daily time frame here. I'm making higher lows. Okay. S&P futures up about 0.46%. Okay, a couple of points away from the all-time high, 6,468 all-time high. I'll drop down to the small time frames in a moment. We're going to map out what's called our global flow and out what's called our G global straps bearish. We'll do that. This is the daily time frame here. Last week was a little slow grind up week. I'll get to the other charts in a moment. A bit more cleaner. As you'll see, if I go to the SPY and the SPX, here's the daily time frame of the S&P futures. Okay, up so far. NASDAQ futures daily time frame as well. Took a nice little drop 2 weeks ago, Thursday and a Friday. Last week, just kind of grinded up. I did a positive COG or a nice little bullish bar to kick off last Monday, pro gap up, and then we just kind of grinded our way up. 2 weeks in the NASDAQ futures, here as you can see, the daily time frame, we're a couple points away from that. So today we're up about 3% so far. And yesterday was kind of just an inside day, kind of low volume kind of day, low. Not really much of a catalyst, just kind of a normal Monday morning. And now we have some kind of momentum that actually happened today. And we're very close to the all-time high. NASDAQ futures 28 NASDAQ futures here easily pop up into a potential. Things that we're going to be watching for today, though, of course, is going to be if we fade. Okay, you'll notice in a moment we're going to be having a gap up in the Nasdaq and the S&P. We'll get to those charts in a moment. We have a gap up, potentially fade lower. Okay, so we'll be aware of that. Dow Jones, boring. Russell 2000, boring. Not really doing much so far for the past couple of months. The Dow Jones, okay, close to the all-time highs, but Nasdaq and S&P are definitely more dominant. Switching over here to the weekly, and the daily. Okay, so a monthly left, daily in the middle, monthly on the left, weekly in the middle, daily in the middle. Right, this is Nick Swim. Drop into the small time frame here. Got the 60-minute time frame upper left, 30-minute time frame bottom left, 5-minute here, followed by the 2-minute time frame over here to the right, and popping open the 60-minute time frame of the S&P futures. I know it might be a little difficult to follow. This is going to get better. I'm going to be doing it on a streaming service, but this is my first live ever on TikTok, so I guess I got to go through a couple of other lives before I go into the studio. So, anyways, it'll get better on TikTok. So just deal with me a little bit here on TikTok. Mike is shot again? No way. Mike check? You got to be kidding me. No, I'm not nervous. The audio's. What's wrong with the audio? You gotta be. Come on. Nervous. All right, is that better? I'm hoping. All right, gotta try to move on here as best as I can here. All right, cool. So 1 hour time frame of the S&P futures here. Okay, and in Thinkorswim, this what's called this something called the overnight or the Globex session. This is the overnight session, and in Thinkorswim it kind of grazed that space out. So this is the overnight session. First, tell you what, what's called our Globex high, the overnight high, which is right here, coming in the S&P futures, 6440s. Map that out as a Globex high, represented by that blue line there. Globex overnight low, and as you can see, hopefully, this is the 63.90 or take is going to be the overnight low there. So overnight high, overnight low. It's something called the G trap, Globex trap. What I'm looking for is an institutional level below the Globex low. So if I look down and left, okay, I got a couple of demand levels right here. There's a level right there, level right here. This is a little bit more developed overnight. So I want to be a bit careful with this level. Call it 63.84. And I'm on a 1 hour time frame of the S&P futures. Essentially, last Friday's kind of open, ding, 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 market open, and just we got a nice little rally up on Friday. So there is some level of demand that's left right there. However, I want to be a little careful with that, okay, as this is a level down here that has a better level due to it being slightly closer to what's called the level in control, okay? So I have this pinned out here, 6350. Just know that I didn't have a lot of audio issues at the moment. It's taking some time away here. And in the live trade room, I do explain a little bit more, okay, of what this is. So right now I have to just get straight to the point, okay? If I look down left, there is demand there. Be very careful with that level, okay? A little bit more obvious. There's some volatility. If it does open and expand, okay, the 6350 down here could be used for a decent what's called a Globex trap here today, okay? So if I drop down, that's just 1 hour time frame. If I drop down to just a smaller time frame at the moment, even given it being a 5-minute time frame, this level was developed let's say 8/7, so August 7th, which was last Thursday. Okay, last Thursday. So we have this drop, this basing, and a nice little decent rally out of there to kick off. A nice little pop on late last Thursday. So 6,350 is the price point right in there. Okay, so that's one of the things that I'm looking at for here today for a what's called G trap long or bullish. Now, in the event that we do break that low, we do have this daily low here. You might want to write this down. Last Thursday's low, 63.33, give or take, right? 63.33. 63.33. There's a daily low right there. Okay? In the event that we do, again, swipe a bit more lower down here, because this level has already been tested over here, okay? We could have what's called a daily low liquidity sweep down in here. So I'm also looking at this 62.20 level, okay, as a daily low sweep, along with this would also qualify for a G trap as well. Okay, so 63.50, we got that daily low at 63.33, and then 63.20 level right below that daily low. Where we could get some potential sweeping action here too. Okay, down here. Keep an eye on that 63.12 too, which happens to be last Wednesday's daily low as well. Okay. Now, if I look up and left, here's current price. If I look up and left, up and left, up and left, if I look up and left, I get the 64.52, 6,452, 6,452. Up here, there's a drop. There's a basing. There's a drop right here, and up and to the left over here. You know, it would be hard to see. Top up on the left here, as you can see. Kind of creepy. 64.52 drop here. Then the only other level above there is 64.68, and that's going to be the all-time high. Okay, and I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of poke maybe a quick little new all-time high potentially today in the S&P and even Nasdaq. Okay, so we'll see. That's what's called a Globex trap short. Now we already kind of had this level mapped up here, 64.25 last week for Phantoms members. You know, it's kind of hit once. You know, had a nice drop out of here. You know, hit twice right over here. Had a decent little drop over here yesterday. It's the third time here. Okay, so I'll clean this up a little bit here. Y'all keep that box over here on the hard right edge, so y'all can see what that kind of looks like. The 64 25 handle hit a couple times already, and today also just kind of pulled right above there. So we're looking a bit more higher here. Be careful still shorting all-time highs. This was going to be the all-time high level. If long TP some, take some profit, and you can potentially take what's called a G-trap short off of these levels here. Okay, I'll do Nasdaq a bit more quicker here. Got 20 minutes before the market opens. Nasdaq futures. Move on to some VIX and some individual options. Just getting straight to the and Nasdaq here. All right, Nasdaq here. Globex high up here. 23,825 Nasdaq. Globex low here. I'm looking for a prime level of demand, institutional level of demand below the Globex low. If I look down and left, we have this here. 23,550, 540, 23,540 right here. Very obvious. Most expecting a potential liquidity sweep below that level. If I were to illustrate the identical level at or around Thursday's demand zone in the S&Ps and marry that to the Nasdaq, that's going to be roughly at or around here, 23,400. Down here, got a daily low, 23,330. I'm going to zoom in. 25-minute time frame. This is a decent one right there, 23,295, right below that daily low. Nice G trap long right here, 23,295, 23,295. All right, there's a little bit of an impulse, basing impulse. Okay, right below this daily low, right in here on Nasdaq. Okay, 23,295. Zooming in there. All right, decent G trap there. In the event that we don't break below this daily low, Thursday's low, zooming in here, we can potentially look at 23,375, 23,375. All I did was zoom in to the 1 hour time frame and drop down into the amount of 5-minute time frame right now to refine So 23,375 for a potential what's called G trap long. Anything you see in gray, kind of be careful with that. Wouldn't be surprised if they liquidity sweep right below this level here. That first level right below blowback's low. Make these a bright colors to kind of stick out a little bit better for you folks. Hopefully that's better. All right, 375, 295. All right. And I mean, NASDAQ is close to the all-time high. The Globex high today basically kissed the all-time high in NASDAQ. All right. QQQs made an all-time high yesterday as well. The NASDAQ ETF QQQs. Okay. So we just kind of kissed that already today. So, just be courteous of that. Okay. If we continue to rally, we'll be away from what's called, we'll be extended away from some average pricing. So, if long, TP, some. Okay. I'm going to get to what's called the SPY, SPX, and look at some options depth data as well regarding options. So let me do that right now. So I'm not going to really quote a NASDAQ potential short. Just gotta be careful with it. Now, that doesn't mean that I won't go get short, okay? But I want to see what the intraday price, how the intraday open, how the price action during the regular trading hours unravels, and I'll potentially take a trade off of that. But for right now, a G trap short, gotta be careful with that as we're in the all-time high abyss. There's no objective level of supply above to lead against in that fashion. VIX, where are you at? Right, this is TradePhantoms.com, by the way. You can hit click register there to access a 90-minute class on Thursdays. I'll get to that in a moment. I'll get backed up here. So let me go to VIX. Okay, trading view here. Got weekly on the left, daily on the right, just really briefly. Okay, got VIX. So VIX down, market up, VIX up, market down. Inverse correlation. A lot more to that. A lot more. Not as simple as that. 30-day implied vol, SPX. However, still going to be mapping out the instead VIX in this gray space here, overnight low here. So far we get a wide range in VIX too, because VIX was kind of hovering up a bit right before the CPI data came out, give or take 8:30 a.m. Eastern. CPI data came out. VIX dropped, okay, and markets just kind of took a rip to the upside. The question is that going to sustain? So VIX continues to stay down or remain down or trend down. Okay, I'm mapping out the overnight lows down there on the left. If you're giving up TikTok, okay, it'll be a bit better there. Just cut my phone. Just got my phone there for dropping. Okay. I'm mapping out the overnight low in said VIX down over here to the right. Okay. And overnight high up here as well. So if VIX remains low and just stays lower, that could be more bullish for the market. If VIX starts to spike up and starts to get some legs and trends higher off the back of even CPI, okay, that could be more bearish for the market, at least for the day. All right. So we'll see how it goes. All right, so always mapping that out. Okay, we got SPYs, SPY, daily time frame on the right, weekly time frame on the left. I'm gonna try to zoom in best of my ability here. For TikTok and everything else here. Let's move this over. All right, cool. So I got the daily in the middle here on the right. We got yesterday's high, yesterday's low in blue so far. Yesterday's close is here, of course, and then we're gapping up here so far, right? So the S&P's pre-market quote 638.40 still would be an inside gap. All right, now we are going to be gapping up potentially about 13 minutes, about what 0.39%. So if I go back over to the S&P X, okay, 0.39%, just to give us the whereabouts of where it might open up there, about give or take about 63.95, 97 ish, 64. Okay, so the SPX implied open, just say 63.95 to 6,400, right? So I'm going to go options tab there. Something called options depth. You kind of need to know options a bit. This is a bit advanced here, but if I hover at or around, I'm going to go up to 6520 because I got a couple of major legs there, 63. All right, so I zoomed in. All right. This is a little bit more advanced here, but I just got to do what I got to do here. I get some Phantoms members in here that know the deal here. So at or around, opening up at or around 6,400. Let's just keep it simple, rounding there, right? Give or take. And what I'm looking for is a high concentration of what's called either positive gamma or negative gamma around what's called open interest order blocks here in the breaking down by strike. So this is SPX, okay? So the our yellows and the lighter reds are going to be what's called negative gamma or regimes, and the blue and green are going to be what's called positive gamma. Keep it long story short here because it's very hard to explain. You kind of need to know what you're doing here. But 6,400. What's interesting about what I see today is it's a major big open interest block here at 6,400. As you can see, the market makers. Okay, we got market makers sold calls here, we got market makers put here. So it's extremely bearish right now, right? So in market makers, there's more bought puts than there is sold calls at the moment right now. For now, okay, what we see here is that's providing what's called a pulse gamma node. Okay, at 6,400, 6,410. Here's what my cursor is. Okay, so if we are gapping up, and let's say we open up at 63.95, for example, and we move up into 64, up into 64.10, okay, there's going to be market makers that could potentially be selling into that, okay, to hedge that. All right, so 64.10 is something I'm going to be looking for that would potentially provide some supply into the market. Now, if we get above 64 into the 64.30, okay, there's what's called a negative regime above here. So if the S&P does indeed get above 15 handle, 6.15, we could kind of go through a bit of a push up into the 64.30 handle as we are with a negative gamma above those levels. So 63.20 and then 63.40 is going to be quite interesting. Okay, as you can see right here in that red, in that red. That little red regime here. In the event that we go a bit more lower, and I'll be here trading the open here with you folks as well as I do with Phantoms numbers. If we go lower, say for example, down into the 63.40, 63.30, there's a decent little positive node down here, but not a lot. There's not a lot there. So high emphasis on the 6,300 here potentially today as well. Okay, I'm not sure if we're going to get all the way down there. Okay, but with CPI being a decent catalyst, okay, definitely 6,300 to be on the radar as well. But keep a keen eye on the 6,340 and 6,330 SPX as that is providing a bit of a positive gamma node right below this negative gamma regime. Okay, so pretty interesting there. I'll give you a quick little look right before, as the market opens as well, and right before I end this session after the open. Take a sip of water here. Hopefully the market's good finally. All right, if you want to learn a bit more about that, you can hit up TradePhantoms there. I just covered VIX, so let me go through a couple of tickers here. All right, just despise SPX. So gap up. Qs here. Close here. Daily time frame. Yesterday's high, yesterday's low. Close here. Gap up. Okay, so we are gapping up. Yesterday all-time new high, all-time high. Side gap up. We are going to, of course, look at the opening print on this. NASDAQ is a bit more stronger than the S&Ps, right, at the moment. Yes. Okay, we got Apple finally breaking out. I'm going to go through a couple of tickers. The Mag 7 specifically for the most part, just because of the options are liquid, more liquid than others. Apple weekly on the left finally broke out a range that it's been in for months and months and months and months. Finally broke out. Had some news on that regarding the infrastructure, $100 million there. Had some decent little fall through finally with some Apple here. Friday being a nice little push as well. Right? We had creating that last week's high, of course, and now we have yesterday being just kind of a digestion day regarding that. So we are holding the upper third range of this breakout. We did clear a couple levels here on, so pretty interesting to see if this potentially could continue. I watch out for these below yesterday's low. My fancy numbers were low right there. Okay, watch out for that there. All right, Amazon had earnings last week. Had a gap down on its earnings, but came down into some decent weekly area of demand over here to the left, left and the right. I had a nice little push last week. Okay, decent little push last week. Past couple of days, I will say, have been inside day for the most part. Where last Thursday I had a nice little new high off the back of earnings after took a dump off of earnings, which is okay. Right, and we had a couple Friday and yesterday being essentially inside of Friday's high, Friday's low inside day. Now got Amazon here, daily time frame on the middle, where I'm at right here. Slight gap up, pain gap here, slight gap up, still inside gap. So I want to stay clear. I'd say above, or at least yesterday's high for this thing to potentially get some legs to the upside. I want to see some closes here. So Amazon right off the open, we have to prove to take a trade here as location, but that's not great. The past couple days, APGO new all-time high. Of course, 2 days ago on Thursday, you got weekly on the left. This thing has just been a monster, a beast. Not only one of the leading semiconductor stocks, okay, but just new all-time high here, right? Last week's high, last week's low. Here, yesterday's high, yesterday's low. We've been inside day, similar to Amazon. We've been inside day. What's that mean? Well, last Thursday's high, last Thursday's low. Friday just remained inside of that, okay, and then even today, yesterday being Monday, okay, still inside of that. Watch out for the liquidity sweep right below here, breaking the month bar. There is a impulse-based IPI, okay, right below this level, provide a bit of a trap, okay, where people are looking to, as we break a daily low into a level of demand, there could be a trap here. Okay, also have this month's VWAP here, that yellow line. If you can kind of make that out to see what that is there. Okay, so watch out for a, we're gapping up here on this. All right, but just be cautious. I'd be patient with AVGO and with everything there off the open. But watch out later today, potentially, if we get some momentum and we sweep this 299, call it 15, price point 299.15. Could be decent for a bullish little setup here in the AVGO. Strong ticker, strong stock, strong sector. Literally just made all-time highs last Thursday. Okay, so if you want to go to some strong, AVGO is one to work on there, right? And so that comes in about 299.20 handle. And again, just to show y'all, right below the Thursday daily candle low and high. That is what's called the mother bulk. Everything else is inside. Watch out for a sweep right there. View up 229.20 there for today. We need to swipe lower on that though, for that to be triggered. Google here doing its thing, right? Just popping, doing its thing. High, low on the daily. Nice weekly close last week. Okay, Google on Friday just popped. Okay, creating that weekly high there. That was also Friday's high. However, yesterday just digestion day and just kind of hovering on the upper third range. Now Google's actually into some momentum right now, breaking out. Right, only about sub 6 points, 5 to 7 points, give or take, from all-time high. So I wouldn't be surprised one bit if Google joins the all-time high club along to join its other part of the Mag 7s that are at their all-time high club, right? Broadcom, Microsoft, Meta clipped an all-time high after earnings, NVIDIA all-time high, right? So the only ones that are really there yet are Amazon, Apple, and Google, right? So yeah, pretty interesting there. We are gapping up above yesterday's high, so this could be forming a potential one. Who's called it 1, 2, 3 go. So who's on the list there for some bullishness? Of course, we have to see how the intraday tape unravels. As always, Tesla. Long story short, with this, very been that to folks. If you look at a monthly, the weekly, and the daily, it's just been up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. It's been like that for a little while now. However, I will say we've been having some setups off of this with the group in Tesla. Given the fact that I got monthly on the left, weekly in the middle, and daily on the right. Okay, we've had some what's called some belt hold bars above the 200 period moving average right here. So I've been just really focusing on just being patient on my setups and entries on Tesla, and they've been doing quite well if you're just patient, waiting for to see what you want to see, right? So these little belt hold bars here and here off that 200 period moving average, as you can see right here. Okay, so pretty interesting there. Had a nice trade going from last week going into Friday. Hopefully, some of my Phantoms members even still got some yesterday, as we had some decent little fall through off what we were doing last week as well, right? So a monster trade there today. We're going to be gapping up. Okay. Now we have to be a little cautious on this as we're kind of getting up here to weekly supplies levels up here called the 350 handle, so on and so forth, right? So we are going to be gapping up right now. It is in momentum. We're a little. What are we trading? 345 right now, pre-market quote. So that is we're on the smaller time frame. 345 up here. Not too stretched, but stretched away from average pricing. But we definitely want to be a little bit patient there. Tesla has been on a couple of 3-day rip there. We're starting to touch also on Tuesday daily, reaching some high levels in the upper range. So I just got to be a little cautious on that. There might be better ones off the open here this morning. Microsoft, let's see. Microsoft's earnings did very well, but we've been gap up, just been grinding lower off of that, which is okay. All right, okay, kind of got a little bit too dramatic up there for Microsoft all-time high. The only challenge with this right now, we pulled back. We're about to fill this gap pretty much for the most part. 315, sorry, 313, sorry, 513, 515. Geez, trying to get so much out with so short time. We have this unfilled gap right there that you definitely want to be aware of, and that's something that you should put up a pin on your chart. And I'm also looking for a weekly low. Like, I'm not sure if that's going to happen today, but even for a swing trade, I'm looking at this 508 level at around there. Just got the market open. Switch this open. Switch this chart to the daily on the left, to here on the right. Be patient with this open here as always. So switch this to the daily time frame on the left. And we got 2 minute on the right. See if I can zoom in on the hard right edge here. We already dumped that BBAI ticker, Mason. I still own some, but we dumped pretty heavy on that. Let's get some internals here really briefly. Advanced declines on the positive mark here, plus 1,300. Advanced declines. VVIX, Valdi up slightly. Keep it on that VIX here. All right, Google, you can see right off the open here. Meta, Apple, wide range bar off open on Meta and Apple. Amazon not quite. Meta actually has a more of a pain gap. Long call Meta here. All right, I'm gonna get long call Meta here. Long call Meta. We'll do, just a day trade here for today, especially off YouTube here. So August 15th expiration here. So think or swim. All right. pick up, say, like a 30 delta here. If I go, or maybe 33 delta, 29 delta, give or take. If you pick up, say, the 792, strike calls going for about $4.10 here. Oh, 450. It's already going. Long call meta. Let me get that in here. Copy and paste this premium chart here. All right, so you can see you got 792 long call meta here. Get this in my other account. All right, Google looking juicy too. All right, meta pop here. So we TP some meta. Right off the open here. TP some meta. All right, print and 6. All right, take these. They're going for about $6 here, give or take. TP some meta. Long call. Google, if you see that, Google. Google on fire. I'm going to dump a little more meta here, okay, folks? Oh, Google is easy setup. Some of my Phantoms members, y'all getting that? All right, nice pop in meta. Google as well. Y'all got rid of some Google here. All right, so I went with meta right off open because I saw a red bar close here, gap up above, at or around prior day's high here. So there's some pain here. Pinsky, Pinsky, one of our members loves it. Yeah, so got long right off the open here on meta. Greens are blues are buys and reds are sells here. So Phantoms members are getting 2 TP here. All right. Lock out with a little bit more here too. S&P 500 is coming into a level here. So TP, I suggested TP a little bit more here. Drop it down. Some kind of pullback eminent here. All right, stop loss can be put at break even at that point. Be patient. I got to check the S&Ps. Complex here. Avgo. Avgo's looking good for a long call right now. Shout out Wahlberg here. Fire. Man, Google, such an easy trade here. Breakout. Google still got some legs potentially here. That was an easy one to grab there. Don't want to chase too much now, but it's still early, like 8 minutes off the open. But usually I'd be decreasing here. S&P is coming up into a monthly high, so the all-time high. So we're gonna be extremely careful here. Google might be a scalp. This could pull back on you there, so you might want to wait. We might have got a new high here. Let me decrease some here. These just touched 7. Okay. These options prices here. All right, so even if you got in a little bit late, these are still looking good here. Okay. In my other account here, I got a 485 fill, which is not stellar. But these are going here. All right. Now, trade off the open, of course, it's Phantoms, with the live trade rooms, we can go all day. So I just want to make sure that I'm also decreasing some size for folks here. I'm not going to be here to trade with you for the rest of the day. That's 2 minutes just on break. Okay. So I care about folks, losing trades and all that kind of stuff. So I don't want to get in trouble with any setup. So I want to be a little bit more Google there. I'll check the S&Ps. I'm going to check the options depth there because we had a lot of stuff at the 6,400, if you remember from the pre-market prep. Avgo, Meta, even Amazon is a little more weaker today than intraday tape wise than something like Google, Avgo, Microsoft, etc. Like Avgo is probably going to pop out a new high here real quick. I can see the S&Ps. TikTok has a lot of flashing things. I'm not a TikTok person, but I can't even see the screen. There's so many like flashing things on TikTok. Anyways, squirrel. This is a positive given out here. The 6415 on the SPX. Oh my God, Google Avgo TP. Good job, Mark Wahlberg. Good job, Mark. TP some AVGO ticker. Credit due to Mark Wahlberg, a valued Phantom member. Good job. What about Mark Wahlberg? He's a beast. That about what's Mark Wahlberg in a good way. Let's TP some more meta here. Ron Hookta letting us know. Also, a Phantom member, TP meta's hitting 730s here. In terms of premium, the options contract. 792 half strike. So TP some more here. TP means take profit. AVGO. Hitting a daily high, buy low, sell high, hitting yesterday's high. So TP some of AVGO, I would suggest, recommend, humbly speaking here. All right, hit that. Microsoft popping off too. Yeah, and that's what I was mentioning to somebody regarding. Somebody had asked about Amazon, right? Not bad, right? But today, not as great as others, right? Now, this doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to short this thing, right? But as far as a bullish setup, I'm looking for the best bullish setups off the open. All right. Oops. All right, so we did have this gamma node here at the 64.15, and we had the S&P hit this level anytime I see orange here. So make sure you lock into some profits on longs. All right, that SPX 15 level was pretty aggressive in terms of a gamma node there, pretty decent. You can see SPYs hit literally the all-time high right off that too, as the SPX had a decent little positive gamma node there. Good job, Lakai. Microsoft popped off the call there. NVIDIA 1 hour creep. Let me go to this chart. It'll be better. So protect gains on bullishness. The clause, it would need to be is decent. I would almost rather have it be down here more and then have it open and a longer wick here. And it's still in development, early development. Wow, Meta just popped more. Get some more Meta, I would suggest. All right, after this TP, my size is going to be dramatically reduced. Hit Microsoft, not Microsoft. Well, yeah, if you did hit Microsoft, but hit Meta right now. These are printing 8. I just unloaded some size on Meta. I'm down to only 2 contracts left on runners there. All right, so you can see Meta did not even react to a little bit of a drop from the S&P as Meta is ripping up. It's actually one of the better Mag 7 stocks right now. And that is just because I'm trained to try to look for what's called pain. So had more of a little bit of a mortgage gap something today, so that's why I was heavy on that today. All right, the VIX is just wild at the moment. Just kissed the Globex high. And we got negative GEX below. We're holding below 64, so I guess maybe some SPX puts here. SPX is not screaming to the upside. We're put some put side on SPYs, SPX. We're below the opening day's print on SPX. Mag 7's giving out a little bit there, other than Meta and Google. There you go, Ryan. God bless. To you, sir. Come on, this is frozen. Let's go. We got negative GEX below, folks. So I'm prepping August 12th. Today's August 12th. Expiration. It's really nothing much. Get to the 63.75. Yeah, I hear, I see you. Only TNT. I hear you. That 15 level on FPX on Gamma was pretty decent, and Spice hit that all-time high. I'm looking at say like the 63. You can maybe even do maybe SPX. He's about 540. They just popped right now. Not be too bad here, but you might want to link into these. So this is a 63.55 long long put in SPX. All right, now this could pull back to about $3 on you here, give or take, because you might even want to put like a limit order in. These are like $3. So right now they're about a 20 delta. So you could potentially put 63.55 long put, which would be bearish, but you can limit in at $3 there for the 63.55 strike put. All right, so I got a little bit here about SPX. All right, so just did a couple of notes there. Right, so that would be probably a retest to this area here at the 6400. VIX isn't screaming though, so this will be where the roughly the $3 limit. Where the $3 limit is. The only challenge with this for the socials is I'm not going to be able to be here to manage this with you folks in here. $3 limit there. Premium chart here. Watch out if this is a swipe or not. Let's see. I'd say about maybe see if we can try to get this gap fill here at 63.75. This could just be a swipe here today, so I'm going to be a bit cautious on this. It was a little bit of a gamma node right in below here. We swipe below VWAP. All right, and this just filled. Let me get to some other account. Be careful with this trade. Be extremely careful with this trade. Okay. So it's definitely going to be patient on that. Broadcom relative strength bullish. I'm trying to pick up the bid too. Yeah, he's going to be wrong for sure. We're going to be patient on VWAP. AVGO long call. Got the print there. So it'll be second time back here. All right, so if I pick up, say let's say AVGO trade 307, so maybe like the 30 delta, 34 delta hit 312.50. 312.50 strike call. Initially, the first trade is always more of the better one regarding AVGO. Let's see. I want to be a little patient on that one there. Nice positive CRG though here. Be patient on that. Risk. All right, and target for SPX. Somebody was mentioning or asking, I should say. We'll see here, but we got first initial move here. Up, new, lower, low. This is all the way up, the correction. A little bit too early there. Added, filled here. So if this makes equal to or new low, which we're getting right now, this is where I'm bearish. Sold. Right, the red ellipses are bearish. Where I'm short in the form of buying a put. And if you're short, need to buy the cover. So we could be buying the cover essentially right now equal to or new low. Put blues here. So as we're potentially making a new low, right now we're making an equal to low. We might not make a new low. intraday. So depending on your average fill, or if you didn't get in as like early as I did, okay, it already popped. It already, it already, excuse me, it already popped a little bit here from three. It's going for 420s right now. If we make a new low, okay, so start to TP, so that premium would probably be 560, 570. If we make a new low, this premium would make a new high. So we can probably print up to like 657, maybe even $8 if we happen to get a spike. If we happen to get a spike. Okay, so you can put some TP orders up here, say premium, what have you, say 520, right? Because that would be kind of close to equal to high on the put premium. Okay, because as markets are going down, this put premium will increase. So I want that put premium to increase. All right, so if markets make a new low, then this put premium will make a potential equal to or new high. All right, so this is going to be take profit. From shorts / bearish trades. Love you too, Striker, brother. You know the love is real, brother. Striker, that's my man, Striker. Another Phantom, my bad. Phantoms. All right, first 30-minute bar purchase in. About to push a new low here. Potentially. And what do we have to do? Already TP some, already TP some, already TP some. You can see there. Let me TP some more. All right, cool. For you TikTok folks, apparently I can't. I have to be careful because you get banned on TikTok. I'm not much of a social media guy, so I don't know the rules, man. But if you want to see, this is not recorded on TikTok, but there is a website that this is being recorded on. It begins with a U. I mean, it begins with a Y. It begins with a Y. I can't spell, by the way. All right, did y'all do good off that long put on SPX? Make sure you TP. It's a counter trend trade on life bull market. So make sure you TP aggressively, okay? House, Mr. Gim himself. Shelf last 75 handle. He's indeed correct. Yeah, so the acronym is YT. If you're for TikTok folks, this is recorded. If you go to YT, wink, wink, you know what I mean? Search for Trade Phantoms. All right, folks, but I got to take a break just personally myself. Usually I would, I just keep going, but I got to take a small break. Make sure you protect yourself. Hopefully y'all did okay this morning. Hopefully I helped a little bit there. Sorry for the audio, kind of took me back a little bit there, but just stay calm, stay cool, stay collected, and follow the process. And hopefully I helped y'all out here with the morning grind here. Meta, Stellar, missed that, NBGO. First time back, good. Second time back, not so great. Google, decent. Meta on fire, and a little bit of SPX work right here. But definitely protect yourself. Okay, this market could catch bids easily. All right, and potentially just rip to the upside. Bull market. Okay, so you might even want to protect yourself. Maybe stop top break even here. Whatever your average fill is, or if you're still in those $3. Okay, at the premium price that is. Okay, if you want to give it a little bit more room, maybe put a stop loss below this pivot right here. Call it about maybe $2.15, $2 maybe, give or take. So that'd be about $1 risk. If not, you can just cut your cut your at break even right now. Okay, I'll do that right now personally. All right, just because I do have to just take a little break personally myself. I have to hit the head, and I'll clear risk on SPX for right now. SPX, you don't want to play around with that. All right, so boom, perfect, $3 out, all out. So in TPTP did about what 2-3 TPs here, give or take, and then flat on that, and right off the open, I got 2 contracts up on there, down $20, no big deal. All right, on that, but nice rip off open for Meta. All right, shout out to the team. I give credit where it's due. There's no I in team. This isn't about myself here. This is about teamwork. We're trying to build professional traders there, Phantoms, right? So no BS, no BS around. All right, folks. If you want to learn a little bit more about the team, TradePhantoms.com. Right here's what the main page looks like. Make sure you go to the correct one here. If you click on register, it'll take you to a page that looks like this. Okay, learn to trade like a professional here. Thursday, August 14th. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, about 2 days from now. You can click your name, email there, phone number, attend. You'll get sent a link to register for about a 90-minute class, give or take, hosted by Mr. Green or Mr. Black. Sometimes they do it together there to help each other there. And now here's the agenda. I'm not going to read this whole thing out, but how markets really work. We're all professional traders here, from Mr. Black, Mr. Green, Mr. Blue, myself here. Multi-directional trading, up, down, sideways. It's not just about stocks. It's about all asset classes, stocks, futures, forex, options, even crypto. Loving some crypto. Ether on fire. Bitcoin on fire. Short-term trading, long-term trading, investing. It's a kind of a one-stop shop for all. If you like it, great. If you don't, great as well. All good. Check it out. If not, still going to be doing our thing with the fancy numbers, ripping tape, and growing every day. That said, God bless. Take care. Blue out. I'll see some of y'all later in the class today. Apologies for the audio this morning. I have no idea. I'm going to check my chords, make sure they're right. I don't know. And on TikTok, it's only going to get better. This is my first live ever here at Mr. Blue. And I kind of have to do 3 sessions before I can actually go into the studio where it'll be a bit more of a professional setup where you'll be seeing my screen, not just on your phone, right? I'm streaming on YouTube and Instagram as well to my screen. But I got TikTok on the phone right now. But that's going to change. That's going to change. All right, folks. God bless. Take care. Trade safe. Don't give back. Don't give back any of the profits that you made this morning. All right, trade tape, wait for setups to develop. All right, if you already had a good morning, a couple of trades off the rip, keep it, be patient, go take a walk for a little bit, come back, and see what unravels. God bless. Take care.